back to this big picture of what we started with at the beginning of the 3 weeks. So we had me as a learner, me as a teacher. What's the relationship between those two? How do they inform each other? What do I learn from them? Yeah? What do I learn from me as a teacher that informs me as a learner? And the other way around. What has anything more been added to your understanding of that over this last 3 weeks? You got maybe a little bit richer picture, and it might be that something's been clarified for you a little bit more, or it might be something new that you could investigate. Might be, you mean when I lie on the floor and do ATM, I'm investigating how I create a learning environment for myself. I'm investigating deeply how I learn, the questions I ask myself. And will that inform me as a teacher? Or maybe it's me as a teacher. It's from observing people when I'm teaching ATM that's giving me ideas that I would never have got on my own. ATM to FI. Hopefully you're beginning to see, to me, they're exactly the same thing. Huh? They're just on the same spectrum. Even if I think ATM's with a group of people and FI is with one person, the process I'm using is the same. One, I'm just probably thinking I'm asking a lot more verbal questions of the person. I'm engaging them a little bit more verbally in the process. To me, is some of the things that I'm going to bring from ATM to FI. FI is about developing my ability to sense myself in movement, to be able to observe what's missing or what someone could clarify a little bit more. But what is it for you? That's where I am with my learning. How do they inform each other? And hopefully what we've got over these few weeks is those of you who, there's a few I know who think, I really want to do FI, are actually beginning to think, maybe it might be good to teach ATM. Maybe that could be a really valuable thing to do. Not just for all those people out there, but for me. Take my learning. Self-use, we did a little bit on yesterday. Has anything been added to your ideas about what you could look for in self-use? That there is a really strong relationship between what you're thinking and how you can feel and sense and move. Beginnings and endings, that's the ongoing one. We've given you some ideas. No? You need lots more. How do I make the meaning relevant? How do I find relevance? Well, like Shah said this morning, it's really important, but sometimes someone can't really tell me why they're coming. How do I go about a process of making the learning meaningful and relevant and allow them to transfer it? And learning and organisation. Again, these two big streams. What does someone need to learn about learning? What does someone need to explore more about their organisation? And how are both of these influencing their self-use or their self-image of themselves? But both are really important components. Do I get in the way more because I need to know a lot about learning, how to bring myself to a learning environment, or do I need to know more about these things about my organisation that I could have a bigger understanding of? clearer understanding of. So if we come back to what is it powerful to learn, what have you learnt over the last 3 weeks? And what are your questions to continue with? Because that's the big one. How do you go about this process of self-directing your learning? So what are you going to do between now and whenever the next segment is? It's one way. Yeah, but really, I'm really deadly serious here. You know, I think you're probably now virtually at the beginning of 4th year. No? You've got a year to enable yourselves to feel confident and competent. You know, the training's going to provide lots of that, but how do I find that in myself? How do I keep finding this way? Here I feel competent. Let me add a bit to that. Let me add a little bit to that. Do I learn a lot when I'm doing something that I feel incompetent doing? How do I keep designing my learning experiences that they're not too anxiety-provoking? And that's different for all of you. Do I learn better on my own? Do I learn better in collaboration? They're both really rich ways. So just have a little chat among yourselves. There's all that first bit of reflection, but let's be really practical. What would you like to do to continue your learning between this segment and the next?